Oh, hey there. So I don't know if I've told this story before, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it again because I feel that there are some people that are going through a hard time and they're maybe having a hard time trusting God right now, and maybe their world is in upheaval. And I want to assure you that your world is only in upheaval temporarily. Okay, so I was a roofer. This was back in like late 93, early 94. Okay. And I'd been a roofer, and there had been a huge hailstorm that softball size hail annihilated the whole Metroplex. Okay. And the Metroplex has 7.5 million people or whatever in it. We did all the roofs. And I was also a youth pastor at the time, and I had long hair. And so one day, our boss comes to us and he goes, "We've done all the roofs." Without warning, we just thought, there was indefinitely there would be roofs forever because of how much damage was done. He goes, "Nope, we did all the roofs. We don't have any more work. Good luck. See you guys again, never." And we're like, that's, what am I supposed to do? And they're like, "Here's your last check. See you later, bye." And so I prayed that day. I said, "God, I don't know where in the world I'm going to get a job where I can make $8.50 an hour," which is what I was making at the time, and be able to have long hair and work around my youth pastor schedule. But I trust you. Now, I was also having concerts back then because I've been playing music for a long time. Okay. And one of the concerts that I had, there was a band that had played there, and I loaned one of them my jacket. And I was poor, and I only had one jacket, and it was cold. And they were more middle class, and they weren't so concerned about jackets. And I left home when I was 14, so, I was very conscious of all the prices of everything because I had to pay for it all. Nevertheless, so I went back to the guy. I was like, "Hey, my jacket." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I gave it to the drummer." And then the drummer's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, I gave it to the bass player." The bass player's like, "Oh, sorry, I gave it to the guitar player." I'm just like, "Oh." So I called him up. I was like, "Hey, you got my jacket?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, I got it. It's in my house." I'm like, "How far away is that?" And I thought it was going to be, 100 miles away or something like that. And he told me, and I was like, "Oh, I could walk there from where I'm at right now." So I drive over there, and his dad is there, and I'd met his dad before. And he said, we were talking for a minute, and I said, "You don't need a new roof, do you? I just got laid off today." And he goes, "No, I don't need a new roof." I was like, "Don't worry about it. And I'll find a real job." And he goes, "But I do need tile laid." And I was like, "I don't lay tile." And he goes, "You seem like a smart guy. There's a free class at Home Depot. You take the class. If you feel like you can do it, I'll give you $10 an hour. Plus, I'll buy the materials and I'll buy the tools, but I keep the tools at the end." And I'm like, as long as you know I've never laid tile before, then I'm totally willing to try because, I need money and I got bills to pay. And so I went and took the class at Home Depot. It was 10 or 15 minutes. And I was like, I think I can do this. I've eaten peanut butter before, so how hard could it be? It seems unrelated because it is. Nevertheless, I laid his floor, and he goes, "Maybe after this will turn into a business for you." And I was like, "Maybe after this, I'll get a real job." And he goes, "But before you do get a real job, my neighbor across the street needs his house painted. Can you do the same deal for him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, painting's easy. Sure, I'll do that." So I did. And he goes, "Maybe this will turn into a business for you." And I said, "Maybe after this, I'll get a real job." And then he goes, my other neighbor works at Bell Helicopter. He needs some stuff done. Would you mind taking a look?" I was like, "I'll take a look." And I did. I was like, "No, I could probably do that." And he goes, "Same deal?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And he goes, "Maybe this will turn into a business for you." And I'm like, "Maybe after this, I'll get a real job." And I literally just felt like I'm going to do this as a favor to them, and then I'll get a real job. That was 30 years ago. Okay. So that was 30 years ago that I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get a real job after this. It took me 3 full years, and I had 8 people working for me full time before I realized, wait a minute, this is my real job. I kept hiring people because they were all in on it. They'd be like, "Hey man, can I come work for you?" And I'm like, I'm not an employer. Like I've got, like 2 or 3 weeks worth of work. I'll work you until I run out of work. But after that, like you're on your own. And they'd all be like, "Are you sure?" And then all the other guys would be like, he doesn't understand. He's actually the boss. We'll have work. There's more work coming. And I'd be over here like, "Oh, I'll try my best. I don't know." Moral of the story is, sometimes you feel like, how could this horrible thing happen to me? And then you know what happens? It's the best thing that ever could have happened to you. I would have never tried to start a business on my own. Full disclosure, right? That's not my ambition. I don't really care about money. I don't really care about all the things that other people care about. I don't care about amassing things and wealth and all that. I care about heaven. That's what I care about. I care about, I heard a quote recently and I thought it was beautiful. And it said, you can't take anything with you to heaven except other people. And I'm like, that's it. That's what I've been trying to say. Like, I identify with that. And that's all I care about. And I accidentally started a business and I accidentally grew into other businesses. And, my life has been just one huge flood of blessings that I am so very grateful for. So if you're going through a hard time, if your life is in upheaval, just understand that maybe don't look for the conventional thing. Maybe don't just settle for whatever, but be willing to do something new. Maybe God's got a plan for your life. Love you guys.